That's a knob. And when I do that, it opens that up. Way to remember that is lefty loosey, righty tighty. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and open this up. And then I'm going to turn this. And lo and behold, there's flames in there. I could go through and turn the other burners on, but I'm not. I just want to show something here. Now, if I don't want to get burnt by the flame, I can turn it off here, and it goes off there. Basically, that's one way that I can shut the propane or the fuel off. I'll turn it back on, show something. The thing I'm going to do is go in here, turn it off, and then it shuts itself off. But it's imperative to go ahead and click that off. There are different types of people who have the ability to have genuine emotions, who don't have to mimic emotions, who don't have to fake emotions, that don't have to hold onions up to their eyes to make them cry, that they're actually people, that they're actually men and they're actually women. And then on the other hand, there's these other things that I don't know what they are, quite frankly, who think it's really funny to suck a man or woman's life out of them and be what people would call vampires. There can be vampirism comes in many different forms. It's not just emotional. It can be somebody who drains our time from us. It can be somebody, there's just different ways. It's kind of like if I was a sink and I was filled with water, it would be somebody that would just sit there and constantly suck something out of me. Many times they tend to be what are called, predators. And if I was in a jungle and there was a lion getting ready to pounce on me, that would be an example of a predator. There's many different people who've written on the area of dealing with psychopathy, narcissism, and other sorts of personality disorders. One of the men that I respect and what he wrote, technically speaking, I would have to say allegedly wrote because I wasn't there, is Dr. Robert Hare, dealing with the area of psychopathy. I also like what Kevin Dutton has written in the area. I also like Martha Stout. There's several that I have began reading some of the books and stuff and actually listening to what they had to say, because it just seems like my whole life I've been trying to figure out why is it that I'm the way that I am, and then there's these other things out there that have no qualities like me whatsoever, that they can only mimic emotions, that they get pleasure out of harming people, that they like to take unfair advantage of people, that they like to bully people, and basically they have a wicked streak to them. And they act stupid about what they're doing. And it's like they've made a conscientious decision to do wickedly. And it's just, and they most definitely know how to retaliate. Most definitely know how to retaliate. And it's almost like they got their PhD in something called gaslighting, minimizing, terrorizing, bullying, being physically abusive, being emotionally abusive, and all sorts of other stuff. I want to get back to what I showed with the propane tank and the propane coming out and turning on the fuel, the propane, the whatever. Many times it's very important not to give self a guilt trip for cutting off toxic relationships. And it doesn't matter if it's somebody that you're blood kin to. When somebody's bullying you, and when everybody else stands around and just acts stupid about somebody bullying you, and if it's your own family member, it's time to basically ditch the whole family. When somebody lies and says that they didn't hear the phone, and basically the bullshit detectors go off, and they act stupid about what they're doing, don't let them keep being pathological liars. When basically there's a reason why our I call it our guts have ears, and that we got to listen to our guts. And I'm not talking about our stomach growling. What I'm getting at is that when somebody is just when you feel like you're being used, chances are you're being used. When you feel like you're being taken advantage of, you're most likely being taken advantage of. When you feel like you're going into a dangerous situation, you're probably going into a dangerous situation. There's many. I've spent over 40 years really focusing in on the area of different things, and the reason why I'm different things in the area of psychology and psychiatry is because it's been extremely perplexing to me how there are so many psychopaths that it is just, I felt like writing a poem like psychopath everywhere. And some of the worst narcissists are the ones who have grandiose narcissism. And they basically think that because that they made perfect SAT scores, because they made perfect grades, because they were class valedictorian, that their poop don't stink, and that they have a right to shat upon everybody else on the earth. And what's very sad is that there are certain cultures where if men and women minors don't make certain grades, it is looked at as being acceptable for them to commit suicide. And I'm like, that's sick. That is sick that any mama or daddy would think it's acceptable for their child to commit suicide over what some complete stranger put on a piece of paper. I mean, and that is just the whole idea of what some of the Asian cultures do. Reminds me of what somebody told me about people going into a college or university, and basically the parents were there, and if their daughter wasn't accepted into a sorority, then they already had a backup plan to go to a different university in order to make sure their child got into a sorority. And I'm like, that's just screwed up. Why would a child's, why would a man or why would a woman's worth be set upon getting into a sorority, or getting into a club, or being a cheerleader, or being a whatever? I think that parents need to back off of just pushing their children into doing stuff that their children don't want to do, and basically one of the worst things I've seen a child robbed of is their childhood as well as their innocence. I think that's the reason why I absolutely hate Alfred Kinsey. I hate Alfred Kinsey and every rapist that there is. Why would I be so judgmental? How dare I be so judgmental? Well, I tell you why I'm judgmental. I have a sense of right and wrong, and for some rapist to rape a child, or to rape anybody, or to attempt to rape anybody, it is morally and ethically wrong. I'll take it a step further. I got so disturbed about what was taking place, I actually tried to get the paperwork to run for judge. And at that point in time, I was told that I couldn't be a judge because I hadn't been practicing law for at least 5 years and didn't have a bar card. I want to bring that up because my next point is what they're doing is that they are using Mishnah, which deals with 613 laws dealing with the Old Testament, and that's how I think that they have been ordering a woman that was raped to marry who raped her, and this, forgive the rapist, excuse me, I want the rapist kept in jail or in prison for as long as the rapist or the can be put in jail. I think it's negligent on anybody to let a rapist or a murderer out of jail or prison. But I also want to say that I don't think that people have the right to take somebody else's life. But basically, they didn't create the life, and when I think about what has been going on, it makes me cringe, and I'm going to go into a little bit about why certain things make me cringe. I could sit there and have my fingerprints on that. Somebody could take that, put it on any crime scene that they wanted to, and all of a sudden I could be charged for a crime that I never even committed. And people who were murdered or what's called executed were later found to be innocent. Now I want to tell you why that irritates me. Is that a psychopath knows how to do different things, and I don't even want to tell you how many psychopaths have that I have firsthand knowledge of. I also want to get into another point. If I said I was the President of the United States of America, would that make me the President of the United States of America? If anybody out there says it would, then I'm sorry. I am not the President of the United States of America, nor do I want to be the President of the United States of America. Just because somebody says that they are an empath does not mean that they're an empath. Or a super empath. Oh no. Don't listen to the hot air coming out of their bagpipes called their frontal orifice called their mouth. Many times the one who have personality disorders are on the very top of the totem pole. And what they like to do is shat upon everybody below them. So whenever anybody below them looks up, all they do is they feel the shat running down on them, and all they do is look up, and all they see are a bunch of assholes. When I think about what has taken place, it does no good to get into any kind of physically violent altercation with a psychopath. chances are the psychopath already knows that they're a psychopath, and they've gone to different measures to go ahead and have hands and feet trained to kill and known for murdering, and are known for being physically violent, and feel entitled to murder whenever they want. That's the reason why I started out with at the very beginning, dealing with walk away. Don't have any contact with them. Walk away. There's a book that was written, I forgot who wrote it, talking about walking on eggshells. When somebody wants to put you on a roller coaster ride, and there's a chance of you getting slung off the roller coaster and getting hurt or killed, the best thing to do is stay away from somebody who is likely to put people into dangerous situations. There was a television commercial about something about, like, basically let Mikey do it. He'll try anything. Don't be the one that they have appointed to be the one to be the Mikey in the situation. They're different phenomenons. One is gaslighting. One is minimizing. There's all sorts of different psychological terms that I think that people need to end up reading, and really projection is another one. Oftentimes somebody with a personality disorder projects onto an empath what they're actually doing. The word narcissist comes from it deals with somebody that basically was looking at their reflection in the water and was just totally oblivious to everything around them. They are that self-centered, and it doesn't mean it's a good thing either. That they feel, I mean, it just the other thing that somebody that's a sociopath, narcissist, or psychopath likes to do is do what's called isolate people. Very typical tactic. That's the reason why many of them end up walking around in pairs, is so they'll always be able to say, "Oh, I didn't do anything wrong. Did you see me do anything wrong?" And then they'll have their criminal partner sit there and just act stupid, and they'll vouch for each other. My main point is go no contact. It doesn't matter if you were blood kin to somebody. If somebody is bullying you, is bullying a man or a woman, and everybody else acts stupid about them bullying, then they're basically, they've chosen the side of the bully. There's no reason to talk to them, because they made a choice. That they made a choice to bully, they made a choice to provoke, they made a choice to isolate, they made a choice to whatever it was that was wrong. And I want to get back to what the Bible says as far as like know them by their fruits. And that Jesus spoke in parables. And then so when we end up looking at the parables, Jesus spoke about the darnel. Jesus spoke about the tares. Jesus spoke about basically the weeds. There's also parts in the Bible where it talks about a tree that bears no fruit. I think that people need to read the Bible for themselves. Jesus also talked about sending people out amongst wolves. And I think that Kevin Dutton's studies about the top 10 professions of psychopaths really needs to be looked at. I like the research of Robert Hare, but I disagree with him because I think just look at the path of destruction. I don't think that any sort of brain imaging or brain scan needs to be done. But the other thing is that the ones that are doing wrong know that they're doing wrong, and I'll take it a step further, even brag about having rotten fruits. And that indicates to me that they made a choice to have rotten fruits.